Hey everyone! So just to continue where we left off, creating the Batman Minion, designed by Jess Davies, also known as Craft Lover 17. I just want to review that these are the supplies that you're going to need to create him. And also the body, if you haven't made it yet, the link for the body is down below in the description box. It's the same body that you're going to use to create your minions. So I do hope you enjoy, and let's continue. Round one of the ears, I'm going to show you to do one, and then you're going to pause the video and make yourself another. We're going to start off with 4 single crochets in the magic ring. So you're going to take your first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you just pull 4 bands through. Reach in, grab your first band and bring it through. Bring your loop over and bring it to the side. Go back in for your second, bring it through, 2 loops, over, and bring it to the side. Back in for your third band, on your hook, and 2 loops over. And your last one, your fourth band. Now you want to attach that stitch marker to the band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. Move your bands around because you only have a small amount of stitches, so you need them nicely even, and you should have 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 is on your hook. So this is the pattern. We're going to add 1 band in the first chain, 2 bands in the second chain, 1 band in the third chain, and 2 bands in your last chain where your stitch marker is. You're going to increase this to 6 stitches. So go in your first stitch with 1 band, stitch 2, you're adding 2 bands. 1, go back in for your second band, 2. Now your third stitch, you're adding 1. And your last stitch, where your stitch marker is, you're adding the 2 bands. Back into that stitch marker, stitch, and your last band. You should have 6 stitches. Don't count where your stitch marker is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is on my hook. Remove that stitch marker and add it to the band. For round 3, we're going to add 1 band in each chain. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Open it up. If you can't see, you're going to use 6 bands. So at the end of this round, you're still going to have 6 stitches. So let's go in our first chain with 1 band. Second chain with 1. Open it up again if you can't see. The next stitch. The next with 1. I have 2 more stitches. And where my stitch marker is, it's my last stitch. So I have 6 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to increase on the third stitch. This is the pattern. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. At the end of round 4, you're going to have 8 stitches. So we're making this round bigger. So let's go in our first stitch with 1 band. Stitch 2 with 1 band. And then stitch 3 with 2 bands Go back in for your second band, bring it through, and now you should have three stitches left. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to repeat 1, 1, and then where your stitch marker is, 2 bands. Back in. So you should have 8 stitches now. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 5, we're just going to do 8 single crochets, so adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. So let's go in our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring 1 band through. The next stitch with 1. The next with 1. And then just repeat until you get to the stitch marker. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 6, this is the pattern. 1, 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, 2. At the end of round 6, you're going to have 10 stitches. So let's go in our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring our first band through. Chain 2 with 1 band. Chain 3 with 1. Chain 4 with 2. Go back in. And you're going to repeat 1, 1, 1, and then 2. Back in. So you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 7, we're going to do 10 single crochets, so adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. This is our last round, so our last band, we're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So your first chain with 1, 1 in the next. You're just going to repeat all the way until you get to the stitch marker. Our last band, we're going to do that slip knot, bring it through all of the loops that are on your hook, grab your end and tie off, and remove your stitch marker. What we're going to do is 8 single crochets in the magic ring. So you're going to take your first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now bring 8 bands through, 1 at a time. On your hook, bring your band over and bring it to the side. Go back in for your second band, bring through on your hook and bring these 2 loops over. Bring it to the side. Go back in, bring your 2 loops over and bring it to the side, and just continue. Now attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook. Bring it off, take it off the loom, move your bands around, and you should have 8 stitches. For round 2, we're going to add 2 bands to each chain. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, all the way around. You're going to go in your first chain, you're going to add the 2 bands one at a time. Back in that same chain for your second band. And going to the next chain with 2 bands. Back in. And now you're just going to continue all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. The last one. So you should have 16 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase this round to 24 stitches. And this is the pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. You're going to repeat this 8 times. So let's go on our first chain with 1 band. Chain 2, you're adding 2 bands one at a time. Back in. And repeat 1, 2. 1, 2 in the next. Back in. And now you can just continue the same way, 1 band, the next chain with 2 bands. Go back in that same chain. And now just continue all the way until you get to the stitch marker. I'm at my stitch marker and I'm adding my 2 bands. So again, you should have 24 stitches. remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to increase this round to 32 stitches. So the pattern is going to be 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this pattern 8 times. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and adding 1 band. Chain 2 with 1. And chain 3, you're adding 2 bands. 1, back in, 2. And again, 1, 1, 2. Go back in for that second rubber band and repeat 1, 1, 2. Again, 1, 1, 2, and then you're going to continue all the way till you get to the stitch marker. Back in, and again, remove your stitch marker. You should have 32 stitches. Rounds 5 all the way to rounds 13, you're going to do 32 single crochets. So adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around until you get to your stitch marker. I'm going to do part of round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to complete the rest. Your last band on round 13, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to do part of round 5. So you want to go on your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring your first band through. And your next chain with 1. Just keep going around. Each pile that I have here has 32 bands. Just 1 band all the way until you get to the stitch marker. So now when you get to your last band, I just want to show you, when you get to your last band on round 13, you want to make sure that you go in with your last band and do that slip knot to tie it closed, to go through all of the bands that were on your hook, grab the end and tie it off. This is what it's going to look like when you've completed all of the rounds. So you can pause the video now and come back to me when you're done. We're going to attach his mask to his head. So I'm going to make sure that the slip knot is at the back, kind of on the same lines as my other original knot. So you want to place it on and make sure that it's flat and nicely put on. And we're going to do 32 single crochets around, the same way that we did the body. So I am going to start at the back, and I'm going to start making sure that this is flat. I'm going to start right beside the slip knot. I'm going to grab the body first, and then I'm going to grab the stitch on the black here. So the same thing as we were doing before, underneath our black stitch there, and you want to bring a band through both of those chains on your hook and slide. And continuing around, grabbing the chain underneath the black chain here, bring it on your hook and slide. And you're going to continue going around all the way until you get to the end. So that chain right beside your slip knot. Just go right underneath the black chain on the body. Excuse me. Making sure again that you're checking to make sure it's not crooked. You don't have any gaps at the top here, any space, like it's not flat. Again, make sure that you don't see the yellow showing through. It just means that you're grabbing the stitches wrong. So you want to make sure that you're going from the bottom up, grab the body stitches, then the black on his mask. Just going to check. Take your time so you're not pulling the stitches out, not like me. I'm making a disaster. The stuffing I meant. I think that you could actually just pause the video and continue with the rest of the stitches, and with your last band, do a slip knot to tie it closed. I don't think that I need to continue this part, and just make sure that you're checking that it's nice and even. We're going to sew on the legs now, and we're going to add a little bit of stuffing inside the boots. This, because I'm using black, you may have a hard time seeing. So if you can't tell exactly where I'm going and you're having a hard time, please do check out one of the other Minion tutorials, just one of the part 3 videos. Of the other two, the Superman or the Hulk, because they're different colors, you'll be able to see a little bit more clearer. So you want to add your stuffing. Don't shove it in because you don't want it to show through the bands too much here. It's black, so it's going to show. So if you don't put too much, you're good to go. Start with this side first. So what you want to do is make sure that the slip knots of the back is facing you and the front of the boot is facing away when you're starting to sew it on. You want to first find your stitch on the boot, so fold it in half, and you'll see a stitch going sideways, and you're going to count 3 to the left. 1 stitch, 2 stitch, and 3 stitch. Put your hook through. Now on the body, you're going to go towards the right here. There's your magic circle, and you're going to see a stitch, a hole right beside. You're going to grab the stitch, the next stitch over. And you're using the 12 bands, so bring your first band through, the stitch on the body and the stitch on the boot, grab the band and slide. Now, our stitches are going sideways, so go through the stitch on the boot, then you want to go a stitch right below where you are, and bring your band through, your 2 chains on your hook and slide. Now if you put the boot flat down, you're going to see that your stitch is starting to turn. So let's go through our chain on the boot, and you want to grab the stitch over that's beside the other stitch, the last one that you just did. Bring your band through both of your chains on your hook and slide. The next chain and the next stitch, because our boot is still going to the side, so you want to come beside your last stitch. Bring your band through your chains on your hook and slide. Now if you put the boot flat, you're going to see that the stitches are turning. So go through the chain on the boot, put your hook flat. You're going to be a stitch above where you just ended. Bring your band through both your chains on your hook and slide. Now we're at the side of his body, so go through the next stitch on the boot. You want to come beside and bring your band through on your hook and slide. The next stitch on the boot, the next stitch right above, and bring your band through. Now the next stitch on the boot, you're going in the front now, so we want to come to the stitch right beside. Bring your band through your chains on your hook and slide. The next stitch right beside, the next stitch, and you're turning Let me just see the next stitch here. I just want to make sure that I'm grabbing the right one, where your hook is landing. And our last stitch, you're around. You want to bring your last band through all of the loops that are on your hook to tie it off. And then you can check out the leg if you did it good. Now for the other side, we're going to do the exact same thing. So you want to fold the boot in half, but I'm going to count to the right, the stitches 3 over. So fold it in half, find your stitch that's at the side and count 1, 2, and 3, and put your hook through. Now you're going to do the same thing. There's your magic circle, and we're going to grab 1 stitch over this way. Bring your first band through both of these chains, other end on your hook. That was a fly. Okay, next one. And the next chain on the boot and the chain above, because we're at the side. Bring your chain through. The next chain on the boot, you want to put it flat. You want to see that the stitches are at the side still of the boot, so you want to go to the stitch right above. Now the next stitch on the boot, I'm still going up. So the next stitch right above with your next band, bring it through both of your chains on your hook. I'm going to pull out this slip knot there and slide. I'm just comparing to the other leg. Now through the next chain, and I'm at the side. So I want to see where this is going to go. Put your hook flat so you can tell where you are going. Through your chains. The next stitch, I'm still beside. And now I'm starting to turn, so put your hook through the boot, and you want to go to the stitch at the side, but the same height as your last stitch. The next one, I'm still beside. Now, let's see, this one's starting to turn. Putting my hook straight, flat, grabbing the stitch on the body, band through the stitches, and slide. My leg is turning, so I want to make sure that I'm even with this leg, and I'm right beside the last stitch that I just did. That one I believe is too high, so I'm just going to remove it. I compare it to the other side. And the last stitch. You want to bring this band, your last band, through all of the loops and do a slip knot. And both your legs are on. And you can hide these little slip knots. Now to sew on the arms. and I'm going to use 1 band per arm. You want to find the side of your body. So I'm going to compare to my legs here, and I'm going to bring my 3 sewing bands through 3 of the stitches on the side. So I'm going to go through one of the stitches here on the body, bring my slip knot through, the next one, the stitch right beside on the body, bring my next sewing band through, and the last stitch, bring my sewing band through and slide. Turn it around, and you're going to go around your sewing band on your arm, and you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. And then to hide your slip knots, I would go through the arm. And now you want to do the other side too, at the side. And you want to make sure that you're looking at this side. So you don't want one arm up here and one arm down there. So if I put it here, it looks quite even. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Turn it around, and I'm going to grab that sewing band that's on the arm, bring my band through, and do a slip knot to tie it closed. I'm going to check it just to make sure. Now add on your goggle to over, just place it right over, and find the placement that you want it at. So I'm going to have it here. And we're going to attach the ears to the actual mask. I'm going to add 2 sewing bands, just like this. So I'm going to do one with you here, where this is your slip knot, put it to the side, and basically I'm going to find the center stitches. I'm going to go through one side, and then the other. And I'm going to bring a band through and do a slip knot. And then the other side, right on the end, another slip knot. Now I'm going to be sewing it at the side, kind of the same placement as where the arms are. So I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to be sewing directly, so find like right above the mask. I'm just going to move it away, and I'm going to find 3 stitches on the body to pull these, or sorry, on the mask to pull these sewing bands through. So evenly where your sewing bands are. So I'm going to skip a stitch, kind of. Not really. I'm just going to pull them through. I'm going to probably skip a stitch right here. If I don't, no, I'm going to go right beside. And I'm going to pull it through. I'm going to check it. Yeah, so they're right beside. I'm going to turn them around, and I'm going to catch that last sewing band that was there on the ear. And I'm going to bring 1 band through to do a slip knot. So just like that. Now for the other side, the same thing, turn them upside down. Find the placement that you want him want the ear at. Now you do have to make sure that you're even with the other side, with this side. So you don't want one up here and one down there. So we kind of just want to follow the same stitches and at the side of the arm. So I'm going to squeeze, I'm about the same on either side, and I'm going to pull the band through. So now you just need to check to make sure that these are together, the same, and I'm going to have to move this 1 stitch up, because you can see that they're not even. So I'm going to undo this, bring my stitch, I just moved it over. And I'm going to check. And that's better. So now I'm going to turn them around and I'm going to catch that sewing band that was at the end and do a slip knot. Now to secure these a little bit better, I'm just going to move the stuffing out because I squashed him, so we can just fill up the head back up. Push that stuffing all the way back up. You can add a little slip knot to catch the ears. So that's up to you. So that means 2 more bands here, and I'm going to catch a stitch on the body and a stitch on the ear. And I'm going to pull a band through. That might have to go a little bit higher. You might have to go just a little bit higher to the top. And the other side. So that's up to you if you want to do that, and you can do the other side. Now to do the mouth, I'm going to use 2 black bands and 1 yellow band. So the 2 black bands I'm going to tie together by doing a slip knot to each other. Now I'm going to pull this and I'm going to go on an angle. I'm going to go like this. So from wherever you'd like to add it, I'm kind of going like this, and I'm usually going the length of my actual crochet hook here. And I'm going to pull it through, trying so hard not to grab the stuffing. I grabbed a little bit. Now I'm going to do a slip knot with a yellow band, and then I'm going to hide that slip knot. So you want to make sure it's secure, and then you're going to turn the black band so that the yellow band is at the corner. And all you're going to do is just hide your yellow band. Just like that. If you find that your stitches are being pulled, just stretch your black band a little bit, or we went through too many holes and the mouth is being stretched. So that's okay. For the Batman logo, I actually traced this from Google using my phone. So that's how I got this logo, and you can do the exact same thing. I just traced it with a white piece of paper, and then I just cut it out onto the black felt. So once you do that and you just cut around it, you're gonna get something like this. Upside down, something like this. What we're going to do is make a hole on either side with scissors, and then you're going to bring a black band through. So I am going to use a toothpick to try to push it through. Try using a bobby pin, which would probably be easier. You can just push the bobby pin right through, but you want to make sure that you're getting 2 little holes on either side. Just cutting on one side. Be very careful. And you don't want it too far apart, because then you're just going to stretch the band once you're adding it in. But you need a little bit of a hole, so you want to see where the holes are, and then you're going to try to push the band through. So I'm going to go from the bottom up, push this, make the hole a little bit bigger, and I'm going to try to grab this. Actually, what I'm going to do, which I found was easier, was just push the band through the hole. Just pushing this. And I'm going to see if I can find it on the other side. Pull it through. Now to get it to the other side. I'm really thinking a bobby pin would be easier. And then once you get it in, you can do a little slip knot to the body. I couldn't find my hole. I just had it. Had it again. Okay, I'm pretty sure you get my point, but now this is determination here. I want to get it in. There we go. So it can be done. And all you're going to do is, with your hook, make sure you're in the center. You want to go through 2 of the stitches. So you want to go through like a little hole here. You want to bring your band through. Careful you don't pull the band out of the felt. Grab the other end, making sure that the bat is placed in the right direction, and take a gray band, the same color as your body. Do that slip knot, and then you can just hide it, the band, and you have your symbol on.